good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Yes, it's me, DD. You was all expecting to see me with a shirt and tie on, weren't you? I tricked you, didn't I? I tricked you. Who's there? Sue Ellen, good evening. Steve Lomas, absolutely, DD. If Lucy had pleaded not guilty, she wouldn't have got the same result. Listen, Steve Lomas, I am going to explain this to you. I've gone 5 minutes early to see if I can. I don't like. Listen, I've been thinking, should I just slip next door and have a pint of Guinness? And then I was like, oh, I can't do that. Right. The novelty of having a pub right fucking next door, right, is just not worn off yet. And I just feel like going, I'll just have a quick pint of Guinness, crack, right? But I don't know what time they're going to shut. Robbie Young. Good evening, England. Robbie Young, how you doing, son? I've seen that you're still doing fantastic work on Twitter. I don't see as many as yours at the moment. I have to see. I've tweaked my settings, but I'm still not seeing them all. June Gower, good evening, DD and chat. How you doing? June Gower, is that you, Tracy? Taffy Pat, Robert Young, Sue Ellen. Don't forget, hit the like button, even though you're not going to like what I've got to say tonight, but I've got to tell you, it's got to be said, right? And there's a few questions that are coming up from one of our strongest supporters and one of our greatest members, right? I'm not going to say his name, but he's saying all these things on our chat, and I'm like, right? It's quite funny. It seems to have pissed off a lot of people. Hit the like button, share, because sharing is caring. And if you can, don't forget to hit the. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have a buy me a pint button on here. Fucking hell. I fucking need one, I think. Sharing and subscribe, right? Listen, people, we're still not at 8 o'clock, so I can't get into this, but I'm not even sure. How can I run that? Let's see if this works. See if I can bring this up on the screen. I'm sure I had it somewhere. Oh, yeah, I've got it on the screen, right? So I'm going to put it on the screen for you. So everyone sees me, because I was on an interview earlier, so I put my suit on. That lovely little lady, Emma. I didn't have time to say to her, do you want to look at my old books? The oldies are the besties. She would have probably told me to shut up. Right, let me see if I can put this on there, right? I'm going to share this with you. Hopefully this will work. Right, you're going to have to... I can't see if this is working or not, so... Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Yes, it's me, DD, otherwise known as Daddy Dragon, Graham Moore. And tonight we're going to be talking about Ricky Jones versus Lucy Connelly. And you're not going to like what I'm going to say, but that was perfect justice for Ricky Jones. The English criminal justice and legal system working as it should, right? And you may not like the fact that he is black, brown, or some other colour other than white, right? But he actually taught the white boy their rights. They have the right to remain silent. They have the right to a jury trial. And they have the right to speak to a jury of their peers and persuade them that the mens rea was not positive. So therefore he didn't have any intent. Versus Lucy Connolly, who was advised wrongly, copper plea, and you won't go to prison. Otherwise, you're going to be on a remand for a year and all that, right? Oh bollocks! What's wrong with that? Remand for a year and all that, right? Well, I'm going to go back to my normal stop sharing. Okay, so I ain't showed the whole thing, but for some reason it started going a bit weird on me. But once we're all in here, it's coming up to 8 o'clock. So our last opinion of the audience, right? Bearing in mind, you have not been privy to the information that the King's Counsel that Ricky Jones had. You're not privy to what went on in that court. If I'd been there, I could have listened to it, but I weren't up there. But it's a very important case. And by the way, there are many other instances. So, who am I going to think of now? Connelly stabbed a police officer to death in his back garden. Not in a police officer's back garden, in Connelly's back garden. And he got not guilty of murder and manslaughter. He got not guilty because the defence put over it was self-defence. Well, it was. It's as simple as that. The old Bill didn't like it and then stitched him up. And then they stitched him up with VAT fraud, and then they did this. By the way, I've never met Kenny Noy. He ain't a pal of mine. Even though the media suggested that he was my best friend. Never met the man, right? But gives you an indication, if the system wants you, they're going to come for you, right? And you need to know your rights as an individual. In this situation, so I'll ask you, the audience, you're all tuning in at the moment, right? Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to get it out there. I'm going to ask you, the audience, what did you think? No, right? So Colin is now trying to talk to me on here. I said I wasn't going to say his name, but I've just seen it and I just went, Colin's trying to. So I've just said no to one of his comments, so I haven't even touched my phone. So tell me, you all think that he was guilty? Right, so be found guilty in front of a jury or anywhere else, even to the judge, right? To be found guilty, so you've pleaded not guilty, right? The system is already on the back foot if you plead not guilty, because they have to prove two things. One, actus re, and actus re was when he was saying what he was saying and then he went like that, right? That's actus re. Mens re, to the offence he'd been charged with, which was inciting blah, 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 blah. They put a number of things forward in his defence, which a lot of you are not hearing. It's obviously been taken on board. First is that he said, and this is one of the things, I've only read this, that he said he was neurodivergent. Right? What does that mean? I think he said he's got ADHD and something else. And they went, okay, right? Which means you're impulsive and just say things or do something, whatever, right? If the defence has put forward that he is neurodivergent or neurodiverse, then under the DEI rules, they have to listen to that. But to be fair, they should listen to that. That's an argument I put forward for my son, and the court completely ignored it. Right? Wasn't interested at all. It's disgusting. In the sense that in my son's case, they ignored it. But in Ricky Jones's case, they obviously took it on board. I don't know how far that went with the judge, but it was the jury that was listening to this case. Now, there's two things that must be positive. Actus re, so that is saying what he said and drawing his finger across his throat or whatever he did, right, from the video. That's actus re, right? And then saying, go and slit the throats of all the fascists, right? He's said it. He's at a place where it could incite people, blah, 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 blah. The question was then moved on to the second part. So the first part he's guilty of, right? But you can't be found guilty unless both are positive, right? The next part is mens re. Mens re, what did you mean by that, right? Did you actually mean telling the people, listen, they should go and cut people's throats? He said, no, I never meant it literally, right? And then he's explained this situation that when he was on a train and he see these stickers on the train and they had razor blades behind them and all, right? They've put all of this to the jury. The jury only know what you tell them, right? And it is worse if you're in a tribunal, because the judges will dismiss certain things and find you guilty anyway, right? Which is why it's always a bad idea to stand in front of a magistrate, right? unless the magistrates are us, right? Which is why I keep telling people, go and be a magistrate, right? Because we have to take the system back ourselves. Local action is national action. So all I'm doing is just making sure you're all aware of that. Mens rea means he didn't know. That's taking the piss. He pulled no. So he's pulled his fingers across his throat. Funny how you don't need to know you were speeding to be found guilty. That's without what the little shit was saying. Yeah, no mens rea, right? No. So what he was, listen. The major problem here. There's two things, right? So. Ricky Jones has just taught the whitey, right, out there, all the whiteys out there, right, what your English rights and what English justice is all about. The problem is not with the justice system and what happened today. And by the way, same person just said to me, must have been a court, a dodgy jury and all that. I said, no, Snaresbrook's a good court. And it is known to be a really good, fair court with good jury pool, right? Snaresbrook is one of the best courts in this country, trust me. If I was up on serious charges tomorrow, it wouldn't happen because you've got to commit the offence within the jurisdiction of that Crown Court, which he did. And that's why he ended up there, because I think he did what he did in Walthamstow, I think it was, and it comes under jurisdiction of Snaresbrook. But the biggest problem here is not the justice system worked as it should today, right? I'm not irritated at all. I'll just think to myself, he had a good brief, he had a good advice. He didn't. He said no comment in his interviews. He took good legal advice, not bad legal advice. He went for a full-on jury trial, and he got found not guilty by his peers. That's it, right? That is English justice at its best, right? The issue is with Lucy Connolly that people are comparing this to, right? She pleaded guilty. She spoke to the police, so she never did no comment, right? So she broke the three major rules. One is she should have represented herself. Instead, she trusted British solicitors and lawyers and barristers. They've told her, which was exceptionally bad advice, and by the way, it's coercion, which is unlawful. If you accept a plea bargain, you get if you plead guilty, you won't be held on remand for a year. Right? That's all bollocks. Right? She should have pleaded not guilty. That was the worst advice ever. Whether you want to call her stitched up or not, I don't really care. Right? The fact is, she should have known all this. Right? So you're my audience. If any of you, and I've warned you about this before, if any of you get nicked for something and then ring me up and then I say, did you say anything to me? Yeah, well, I had nothing to hide. I will tell you to fuck off. Right? I will tell you to fuck off. Ask the people who have rung me recently, right? And first thing I say to them, did you speak to the police? No. And one of them said, no comment. I didn't even answer me date of birth, nothing. I didn't even give him an address. I didn't answer a single question, right? So you've got to understand that you have the right to remain silent, and it's the most important thing. All these law books behind me are full of laws. If you open your mouth, you're convicting yourself. So shut up. That's it. No comment. Like I said, find a spot on the wall and stare at it. And if they threaten, oh, we're going to bang you up, we're going to lock you up tonight, so what? So what, right? Because the longer they keep you in custody, when you get found guilty or it's no further action, you can then sue the police and you're going to get paid for it, right? And as long as you've got proper people behind you, say someone like me, right? Even though they don't pay me, they refuse to pay me, right? That meaning the system, which is wrong, right? Maybe we should try and resolve that, and I think I will, right? Because I believe with the knowledge I've got, I should be paid. And I'm not talking about taking money off of you. I'm talking about the system, and I say, that's my fee, you pay it, right? So the next thing is, she never said no comment and all that, right? Her lawyers, advocates, whoever they was, right? And bearing in mind her husband's like into politics and all that, it's a councillor, Tory councillor and all that, you know, it's all bollocks. The whole lot, the whole thing of justice in this country is a sham if you don't know your rights. And they will take liberties with you. They don't care. The police just listen. They already said in the Metropolitan Police, it's already been admitted by them that they have got a policy of 8 nicks a day, right, or whatever it was. In other words, there was a target for police constables, never existed before, and they had to admit to it for some reason. I can't remember what the reason was, but they had to admit to it. So all I'm saying to you all listening to this now, if you get arrested and you say no comment, and they say we're going to lock you up, right? And you say what? Just because I won't talk to you, and you wouldn't say that, right? That's the wrong thing to say. When it goes to court, when you get a not guilty, then you're going after them, right? When the hunters become the hunted, and then when you do that, you must go for a jury trial in a tort court, right? And you are literally then saying to them, and you've got to do it within 28 days of the defence coming back, otherwise you've lost your right to a jury trial with a tort. And one of the only offences you can still use a jury in a tort is against police constables that have abused you, right? And then you get all this system, and you'll get your money back, you'll get the system, and as long as you spent in police custody, and you would build it up. And if it's a really bad case, it's obvious that it was done maliciously, you got a malicious prosecution, there's plenty of things you can do, right? There should have been complaints about legal professionals who advised her, but that's not really neither here nor there, right? It's just she should have known the basics herself. Everyone should be taught it in school, all right? And they're not. So you've got a coercion element of that, where that's not right. And I mean, if I had heard that, I would have said straight away, that's coercion. You can't do that, right? If I was representing her, I would say, what are you doing offering inducements, right? That is an inducement. You're not allowed to do it. And then to be given, if I remember rightly with her case, it was the Attorney General, so it's a political decision to prosecute her. And the Attorney General is a good pal of Keir Starmer's, right? They're friends, go back years. So she is a political prisoner. But again, right, she should never have pleaded guilty. As soon as you plead guilty, the Actus Re and Mens Re, you've admitted the Mens Re, and the Mens Re part of it is your argument, right? All she had to say was, I never meant it, I was in a bit of a temper, I deleted it straight away, I certainly never meant to any harm to anyone, I was just angry, blah, 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 blah. Jury would have gone, not guilty, straight off, right? So whilst I'm not having a go at Lucy Connolly, I am having a go at the people that are saying all of a sudden we've got all this tear tight. We haven't. The justice system works exactly how it should have done today. I'm fucking pleased. I'm very pleased. And I'm pleased the little black boy from Dartford, right, wherever he originates from, I don't know, or where his ancestors come from, but he certainly learnt his English rights, didn't he? I would say that's like successful assimilation to the English. He's integrated into society. Fantastic. And he's taught Whitey a lesson, right? Learn your rights. You should learn your rights. Let me have a look. Any questions? Because I've been given notes. I might even just read these out, because I just said, right, you're wrong with what you're saying. But anyway, I can understand why people are angry, but you're angry for the wrong reasons. Really and truthfully, that you should be asking. And Colin did ask the question: Surely there's something you can do against your barrister. Currently, there's not. Let's see what he said here. So there's a lot of things that were said here. Let me see. I hope you don't mind me reading these out. So what he's saying is they're deliberately stoking civil unrest. I don't doubt that. Because there's not enough people actually saying what I'm saying at the moment. It's Lucy Connolly. She should not have pleaded guilty. None of them people should. Peter Lynch shouldn't have pleaded guilty. So did he know his rights, or was it the system that covered for him by informing him of his rights? I mean, come on, think. It does stink. No, it don't stink at all. No, it don't stink at all. You should all know your rights, especially this audience. But she would have been advised to plead guilty, so it's the system stitching her up. Well, if you know your rights, it won't stitch you up. You're trusting people that are part of the British system. It's an administrative law system that she flowed through. What he flowed through was the common law system, right? If you plead guilty, you're opting for the administrative system of justice, right? Basically, you deserve everything you get, right? Because if you plead not guilty, you can just keep going back at them, right? But surely you've been advised to, right? So I'm just reading out these questions, and don't forget, if Colin's listening, I'm not having a go at you. It's just you're saying what everyone else is saying, so I might read it off of what you said, and you've only just seen it earlier on tonight, which I've been watching it all day. I've been laughing. I've been sitting here giggling at it, thinking all these people like eating the roof over it. It's quite funny. Yeah, but it would have taken. Yeah, but he would have taken advice. That's what we pay for. That depends whether she had a solicitor or a normal geezer in the thing. But they're all wrong. I told you, the solicitors, the barristers, there's none of them are any good. Yeah, but she should have taken advice. That's what we pay for. They have been for a long time. Would you take advice from a doctor, Colin? If a doctor said to you tomorrow, "I need you to take the COVID jab," would you take it? Or would you think for yourself and say, "Fuck that"? I've never none of that. Right, exactly. Right. You wouldn't, would you? Because they're all on the gravy train. It's your please guilty, not the system. Right. And I said, so just to make sure, I said it's her that pleads guilty, not the system. And I've also said in there, you should be more angry about Lucy Letby, because she was truly, she's doing 9 whole life sentences, right? And she's completely not guilty. Makes no what she pleaded not guilty, not her barrister. So again, I'm just going to emphasise this, right? Barrister can't put a plea in for you. You have to do it. They make you stand up. They say, "Stand up, Mr. Moore, whatever your name is, right? What's your date of birth?" You give me a date of birth, right? And they say, "Right," and they'll read out the charge and say, "Do you plead guilty or not guilty?" And you are the one who has to say not guilty. And that's actually you don't have to say anything, and they will put a plea of not guilty in for you, right? They changed the law on that one, so they will put if you don't say anything at all, which is your right, even in court, you don't have to say nothing, right? You could just sit there and just not say anything. They go, right, not guilty. But you want a jury trial, so you'd have to opt for a jury trial. And again, they will try and dissuade you from that and say, "No, I want a jury trial." All right. Otherwise, you're in administrative law, which you don't want to be. That's like justice from the judges that are all corrupt, right? And they are nearly all corrupt. So it's Lucy Letby should be up in the bones. So it makes no odds. She pleaded guilty, not her barrister. That's really important. Her barrister didn't stand up and say guilty, right? The reason he didn't go to prison is because it was nothing to do with him. It's her, right? Like it or lump it, that's the way it is. But she would have been advised. So it's her that pleads guilty, not the system. Because Colin is saying the system is wrong. I said, no, the system is perfect. That's exactly how it runs, right? So you must always plead not guilty. You must never say a word when you get arrested, right? They give you the caution, just say no comment, right? And the fact that they're going to bang you up, you've got to think, if they lock me up, you just think, don't tell them, just think in your back and they're going to pay for this, right? And as long as you say nothing, you should be all right. First rule, silence. Second rule, jury. Third rule, represent yourself. Never surrender, right? So again, the question is, so if she pleaded guilty on the advice of her legal team, then why do they get to walk away whistling Dixie? It's always been that way. Isn't it about time that there were punishments for neglecting to protect your clients to the best of your ability? Technically, there is. But no one ever uses it. The only type of person who would ever attack on that front would be someone like me. Always been like it. So I said mens re. So no mens re, right? And then Connelly says no mens re, right? Drawing your finger across your throat is no intent. I said no, that's actus re, right? So you saying it and doing that, right? That's actus re. That's you're committing the offence, right? In law, yeah. But then you've got mens re. So you've got actus re and mens re, and both need to be positive to the jury for you to be convicted, unless you get what they call what's the word for it? I'm forgetting what it was called they call it perverse verdict. It's not perverse. It's just basically we're the last bastion to save you from the state. That's why you should always go for a jury, right? And then he says, so I've said that, and I said, no, listen, he's saying he didn't mean it literally, right? If he didn't mean it literally, then there is no intent. The jury believed him, right? For whatever the reasons were, and he's given evidence in the witness box as far as I understand it, right? His barrister is a King's Counsel, very experienced, gone bum, 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 bum. This is the law. And then your barrister has to say these certain things to a judge, and then the judge has to say certain things in his directions, which is what happened with Charlie Staples, right? And then bang, goes in there, and the jury says guilty or not guilty, and then they'll say no, not guilty, right? It's not rocket science. This is quite simple. But I do want to emphasise, if you plead guilty, you go through the administrative system, which is the tribunal, no jury, judge, bollocked, right? That's it, you're fucked. The common law system, not guilty, jury, your peers, etc., right? You were speeding and found guilty. That's without what the little shit was saying. Yeah, no mens re. So, Colin, I do agree with what you just said there. Funny how you don't need to know you were speeding to be found guilty. Yep. Well, that's not entirely true. I'll be honest with you. And I can't say too much about that. But if a police officer pointed a radar gun at you and he comes up to you and he says to you, you wind down your window, he says, what speed was you doing? Right, I'd say no comment, but as long as you say the speed limit, right, technically you can't nick you for speeding, because your speedo could be out, you could have changed your wheels for bigger or smaller wheels, which affects your mileometer. As long as you're not fucking 40 mile an hour over the limit, basically, But what they expect, they expect you to say this is if you're speeding, and he's pointed a gun at you. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, officer. I just momentarily. Sorry. I just didn't realise. And you go, okay. So now you're nicked for speeding and no care and attention, or many motoring offences, right? And all that you're doing by talking to that copper, right, is slaughtering yourself, because everything you're saying is now being recorded against you to prosecute you. So without due care and attention, sorry, officer, I didn't see the sign. Without due care and attention, right, it's worse than a fucking speeding offence. There's so many things that people don't realise, right? So what do? Shut up. If it's just a standard pull and the cop comes up to you and you're a few mile over the top and he says what speed you was going, you say what the speed limit is, 30 mile an hour. And they'll say, well, we've got you recorded at this. Well, my mileometer, what mile per hour thing on there said I was doing exactly 30 mile an hour. Oh, that's it. They might give you a warning to behave yourself. That's without the little shit was saying, yeah, no men's right. So listen, I can understand the anger, but truthfully, he. You're not going to like this, but it's true, right? Ricky Jones did everything right, so did his legal team, and he got not guilty, right? Lucy Connolly did everything wrong, so did her legal team. She's doing 3 years. That's it, right? So one was the administrative system that she was into because she's done it. Why are people sending me pictures of goats? Someone sent me a dinghy full of goats. And they've said that all their wives had turned up. I like funny things like that. Let me have a look. I won't go into that one because that will be a message. Let's have a look. There's a few questions coming in. Put some questions into the full English. Don't forget, don't send them to me personally. Let's put them in the moderators group, right? Because that's where I read the messages from. Let me have a look. Question, right? Graham Moore, that's me. DD, Anton, DD, is it true that it costs the taxpayer £3,000 a month to keep someone in prison? Fucking a lot more. That is not true. It costs a lot more money than £3,000 a month. A lot more. I can't remember what the figure is. It's something like 15 grand a month. It's fucking a lot of money. It's one of the biggest businesses in the country. That's why Wagon Hut. Do you remember years ago, about 25 years ago, 30 years ago, Wagon Hut wanted to privatise all our prisons and they brought private prisons in. It's like having a giant hotel with guaranteed people in there, right? And then you've got all the bottom feeders, people survive, like cooking, unless they teach you to cook in there. Let me have a look here. Let's have a look at it. Archer's not. Hi, Graham. What do you do when they say, however, it may harm your defence if you fail to mention now something which you later rely on in court? It may harm your defence. That's the dodgy part of the new caution that they brought in, which in my opinion is illegal and ultra-vires. But forget that. You have the right to remain silent. Nothing takes that away, right? It's a constitutional and common law right to remain silent. So Tommy Robinson, when he got nicked for the terrorist stuff, and they said, you've got to speak to him because if you don't, you're actually they'll bang you up and all that. I'd go straight in for a habeas corpus writ and challenge it. It's as simple as that. What are we doing now? Timestamp for awesome clip. I don't know what's awesome clips in where. 21 minutes in. My van speedo will say 75 miles per hour when Google Maps says 70 miles an hour. Yeah, no, that's right. But it can go the other way. It can go either way. It depends on what you're using. But all different things say different things, right? Who's lying? Who's lying about what? Yeah, I noticed that with Tesco delivering the vans. QQ. I wouldn't trust some of the GPS stuff because it's triangulating you for a speed. If you was doing directly satellite tracked, it might be slightly different, but you're not being with normal GPS. Slimming, DD, slimming. What constitutional documents would you need to take into court when defending yourself? Depends on what so it's not just a sort of, it depends on what the charge is. Not everything would be, well, actually virtually everything does go back to the Constitution, but it depends on what it is. So if it was they've arrested you for having I don't know, an extended pepper spray, right? So you give your wife pepper spray, and they nick you because that comes under the Firearms Act now, and they turn around to you and say, like having an offensive weapon in a public place, right? You say it's purely defensive, and the mens rea comes in, and they'll ask you, was you going to pull that out and attack someone? Say no. If someone had attacked me or attempted to rape me, I would have sprayed them in the face with pepper spray. And that is perfectly, there's nothing wrong with that. In America, women have got what's known as get off me guns. And that means like a little derringer that goes just into the top of their stockings, right? And if you was to literally try something you shouldn't be trying, they pull out the derringer and shoot you. That's it. End of. It's self-defense. We've got lots of self-defense laws. I could go into the self-defense laws and you'd all go, wow, Speedo more accurate. I don't think the Speedo is not necessarily more accurate. Satellite, you can go out of focus when it takes a moment to catch up. Not if I was on my satellite. Not focus on reception. Really correct, because the manufacturers have to abide with the legislation stating they have to set the speed slightly less than the speed showing, and even if it wears with age, it will show slower. And that is to Nathan. Nothing the Connolly probably wouldn't sort out. Sort of, but just to let Nathan know, if you change your tyre, so if you had, I don't know which way this works, right? I used to, but if you had 15-inch rims and then you changed your rims to 17-inch with low-profile tyres, that will change the reading on your speedometer without going into too much detail. Let's have a look and see what else is there. I'll have a look at that in a couple of minutes. Any other questions on this subject? Right, so you've got constitutional fundamentals, the common law constitution, which I'm sitting here reading all about. Oh, here's a good one. Trial by jury. Oh, Hamlin Lectures, Lord Devlin. Right, and then you've got the Halsbury's Laws of England, constitutional laws. And then you've got the other one, which I'll put back in there, number 10, which is the statutes. So there's lots of things that people can do, but the basic rule is, when you get arrested, shut up. Don't say a word, right? Because you're only giving them, there's hundreds, actually thousands of laws there. I'll guarantee you open your mouth, even to say what, they will find something to nick you for. Right? Don't pull funny faces and expressions, because they can use that as evidence against you. You literally just say no comment. Don't do anything. No snarling, no nothing. Zero. New Age Templar. Larger diameter wheels give you higher speed, but not on the Speedo. Okay. Robert Young, hello. That's right. So, in other words, if you've got higher diameter wheels, you'll go faster. The car will go faster, but you won't know, because it's not recorded on the speedometer. I get what you mean. Hey up. Good evening. Oh, what made my camera's gone off? Why has my camera gone off? Don't know why my camera has gone off. My camera's gone off. Let's hit that button. Enable camera. Let's see. Why is my camera playing up? All right. It's just gone off. So that is weird because it was doing on the other one and all, wasn't it? Right, let me jump off of that one. For some reason, the thing's gone off. Nope, lower accessory. So make sure it's working. Hopefully you can all see and hear me. I'm not sure if it's not displaying on the screen. Let's go and have a look and see if this is working. Hit the sound button off of there. I'll see if this is working. If not, can you all hear me, by the way? Let's see if this works. For some reason, overheated. The Constitution is the solution. Can you all hear me? I can hear you, can't see you. I've got no idea when I ain't working. I'll tell you what, let me go back into this. I'll have to do it a slightly different way, which I don't want to do, but I will do it just to see if it works. FaceTime camera. How's that? So for some strange reason, this is just a normal camera off the laptop. For some strange reason, the Elgato is not working. Well, it seems to click off after about 40 minutes. I'll have to find out why it's doing it. Anyone clever out there know why it's doing it? That's it. And then I've got Graham's iPhone camera. What you're telling me, that if I went on that, I'm going to do an experiment now. Right, so, yeah. No. Anyway, I'm going to go back onto this. Right, any other questions? What did you prefer, the first camera, the Elgato, or this one? So I've got to work out what's wrong with that camera. Lucy, let me, John G, 5B5 here, so you can see it all, right? So did you like the first camera better or the second camera better? I said that to you last night. It shouldn't be frozen though. You should just be getting it coming through. If you have a spare part, use that, Daddy Dragon. Yeah, audio. If you have a spare port, use that. What, the audio's bad or the audio's good? Can't see you. Can you see me now? Give me a 5v5. Can't see you. Juicy and Lucy, first one. So you like the first one better? First one. Laptop camera. The laptop camera is this one. Audio good. First, I think, Robbie Young. Yeah, it's 45 Y after 30 minutes. Sean Tyler, first camera. I don't know if that's because it don't feel hot or anything. There must be a reason why it's doing it. It's an Elgato. Hang on. An Elgato Facecam Pro. Anyway. Any other questions? This is okay too, DD. Well, that's all right then. I've got to sort out this. Still ain't sorted out. I will sort it out. There's loads of stuff. Listen, every time I pull all the books off the shelves, I've gone and bought a Hoover. I've got all these different things. Got to do a load of washing up. Hopefully I ain't left the tap running. But I might even pop out and have a quick pint now. That's if they're still open. They might not be. But this is okay. Right. Any other questions about that? I'm only really doing it about this subject tonight because everyone was hitting the roof. Has anyone heard? Has anyone heard about what's happening with Trump and the other fella? Is it good, bad, or ugly? Let's see if I can pull that up. I'll have to rest this on the other book. Let's see if I can put it on there. There's that. Yeah, I don't like that. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's see if I can put it up on here. Put that on there. Put that on there. You would not believe some of the things I'm trying to do. How's that? At least I'm still here. That's actually quite comfortable like that. This is okay, 5x5. Yeah, so tell me, I haven't seen any other information or any news about what's happened. New COVID in, they ain't going to fuck themselves with the COVID. Leave your knobs alone, DD. It's all good. DD, you will, in case of the meeting, it is in the hands of the frog and will be all well. Thank you, Keck Rangel. Wilner, Sapper, Sloth, Flu. Any news? I know there's a bit of delay with this. Any news on President Trump? Are you on about that J.D. Vance? Oh, what happened with J.D. Vance? What with that boozer in Oxford? I see it on Twitter. I just started laughing. I said it's Oxford. It's full of communists. What do you expect? It's the banks that decide wars. Did Graham do Emma's show? Yeah, I've done a show with Emma Dunlow. Is it? Dunno. She asked me some advice as well. I don't know whether it's a good idea to put that type of thing out there, but there was a couple of cases she asked me about, and I just said, yeah, like they have got constitutional arguments and citizens' arrests, etc. Not sure when it's coming out like how. They're going to edit it. Not sure when it's coming out. It's a bit warm in here. Where's that? That's cold as anything here. DD, are you going to bring back your virtual English pub? Used to be every second Fridays where you had call-ins. Yes, Sam. T. I will bring all of that back in. Trump and Putin still talking. Starmer and Zelensky sharing some bungle in Downing Street. Some bugle in Downing Street. 2 Square was in Lichfield today, apparently. Light Owl, New Age temper. They think they just shook hands, Trump and Putin. Cuckoo, how does anyone get you to represent them, DD? You can't really. So the part of the problem is they won't allow me to represent you. I have represented people, but they don't allow it. You have to ask for the court's permission, even though I'm paralegal. But I may do some further investigation into that to see, because, I mean, my fee last time was approved by the magistrate, and the guy got a complete case was thrown out with what I'd written. He might even be watching. Was it hedging in Lichfield? Was what hedging in Lichfield? Have you been exploring your new surroundings in Devon? A little bit, not a lot. I went out yesterday. Didn't go out today. I've been doing a few other things in here. Ramsey, why are you frozen? I am frozen. Refresh. Do a show live from a pub. You'll have to watch your P's and Q's. I don't think they'd like that. It's a bit funny because then you've got other people, and some people are saying, I don't want to be live on the internet. But Robbie Young, smashing the gangs will never happen because they are big business, Uber, Amazon, etc. I don't know about that. I think we'll crack on. Oh, right. I am going to say au revoir, good night, God bless, and all that. I'm going to see if I can go and get a beer. Right, if there's no more questions on that, but I will see if I can sort something out because I have to earn a living in this place. Anyway, good night, God bless. Don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution. All of them people being highly negative, go and follow me on English Exit and you'll see how many times I put it out. Go and have a look at the description on this video and you'll see right what it is. I don't know whether I should go up the other pub or this pub, but we'll see what happens. That's it. Good night. Tilly poo, au revoir. And I'll see you all later. And don't forget, not this Saturday, next Saturday, I am doing a seminar in Bournemouth. Connelly guy, night mate, see you later. Slimming, good night, God bless. Don't forget to subscribe and share. It's massive. Don't forget to hit the like button. Good night, Day. Bless you all. Tiddly poo, good night. Yeah, and don't get too upset about what's happened with Ricky Jones, right? In effect, he's proved that the common law justice system works just fine. And people don't know what they should and shouldn't be doing. Take advice from me is the best way. Graham will be speaking on Rise Above in the Flesh, August bank holiday. Tickets still available. Yeah, go and hit the tickets. So if there's anyone wants to go to Bournemouth, it's Bournemouth, isn't it? Which is about 2.5 hour drive from here. And then I need to set up and get it all right, and then I'll be going for all this stuff. Have a great week, DD, and chat. Thank you. June Gower, is that you? Who is June Gower? Is June Gower Tracy? Rob Young, thank you. Night all, stay safe and happy. Have a good weekend. Yeah, no, everyone have a good weekend. I am gonna come and carry on trying to sort this mess out. I'm no good at organising stuff, and it's trying to organise this bit round me and the lighting and the other bits, but I will get it right. But I need now to find out why that El Gelto keeps going off. There's something seriously wrong with that. I don't know what it is. That's it. Bye. Let's see if I can hit the like button, go off camera.